Listen, man, that was something else. That fight was a roller coaster. He takes you down pretty early, I think, with like at least 4 minutes to go. Worst case scenario, when the striker gets taken down by the grappler, everybody says the bodies are dry. There's no blood and sweat or nothing to at least, help out the guy that's trying to squirm out of some of these subs. But you did it. You stayed calm, I think was the important thing. You stayed calm like you had been there before, which is probably a shout out to all your training partners who probably put you in difficult positions. You stayed calm, and eventually you worked your way out, got the fight back to the feet. Take us through that. What was that like before we get to that epic finish that you had?
No, it was just like fuck when I got taken down because I've been practicing. I've been practicing like checking the hip with my left, and he shot on my right side, so he like switched it up a little bit for me, which was sweet of him. And I was like, "You motherfucker!" And then when I was in the air, I was just like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go for a ride." And I was just like, "All right, well, stay calm, be patient." I've been in bad positions before in practice. Um, when you panic, you put yourself in a worse position. So I just had to stay calm, and I was able to get back to my feet. And then I knew on the feet I was gonna have his ass because he's a grappler. Um, but no, yeah. And then like off one of the right hands, I'm pretty sure I broke my hand. It just got hot and went numb. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
motherfucker. But it's a fight, so you got to keep throwing that shit.
So a lot was going through your head. Stay calm, and then you get back to your feet. You throw some juice, and then all of a sudden, which hand was it?
My right hand, but I kept
You're right.
throwing it. It didn't look like it was broken, but it fucking hurt. I just kept
Right.
sending it.
So by the time all this is happening, have you seen him break a little bit? A combination of maybe exhaustion and the fact that he probably knew he blew a big chance. Like, could you read him before you obviously start taking over a little bit and you start feeling a little bit more comfortable?
Oh, for sure, I knew my coaches were saying like the game plan we had was like be heavy on top, let him shoot, let him do his thing. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, not a wrestler. We knew he was gonna gas out if I made him wrestle. So like the game plan for it, a lot of it was to make him wrestle. And just by having heavy hips, he's got to carry that extra 205. And it just like the game plan worked to a T. He fatigued out like we thought he would, and then it was my time to shine.
And then I should have asked this as we're going through the sequence, but who can you give a credit to the preparation for your sub defense? I mean, I heard you're a purple belt, so obviously you definitely know your way out of submissions. And this is MMA, not just submission grappling or jiu-jitsu. So there are a lot of other things you can do, primarily punch back or whatever, elbow, anything. But did you import high level Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Do you have them in the gym? Was this something that you spent you dedicated a certain amount of time to? Like how much time did you give to applying towards this specific opponent?
To be honest, so who I'm gonna give credit to, Jim West, my head coach. He brought in Elliot Kelly, bad motherfucker, to start like working with me for jiu-jitsu. And then Kelly Anunson, another high-level grappler. I had both those guys, and like they're both like 225, 230, and they're some strong motherfuckers. Like they're a pain in the fucking ass to get off of you. Like, I got to the point where I was like, bro, let's just jump him. I was like, it was fucked up. They're fucking retarded strong, and they were just fucking me up. And then we just kept drilling, getting better. We did a lot of video and just, yeah, it just came together well. And for as far as like submission defense, we honestly we didn't work a lot of sub defense. Once you kind of learn the defense is, I mean, it's all the same, right? Just one little thing. Basically, you take one thing and he's got to restart the whole process over. So the main focus was tight elbows and just basics. And they told me to stay away from the ground, but I had to submit this guy.
Well, that was the next question. So now the fight's in your favor, and of course, from day one, even from Contender Series, I noticed you have a very smooth flow to your hands, power in them as well, speed. And I thought, okay, now Vieira's got to watch out because obviously he's drained himself a little bit. He seems let down. What is Anthony Hernandez going to do here? because I know he wants to light him up. Now, were you at that time thinking the same thing, or were you really focused on submitting the world champion sub grappler? What was your thought process there of how you wanted to look for a finish?
Honestly, I wanted to knock him out. I was trying. I hit him with like some hard shit, and he was just standing up still. And I was like, "Oh fuck, this motherfucker's tough. He's not one of those guys that you can just get out of there, you know." So I went to Plan B and just submitted him. And like my coaches were actually yelling, "No, no, 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 no!" Like when I was like grappling, they're like, "Get up, get up!" I'm like, "Fuck that! I need to fucking choke this guy." And yeah.
Your coaches weren't the only ones yelling that. Goz and I were hosting a live stream. I think we were saying, "Get up! What are you thinking?" Everybody in our chat room was saying, "Stand up! You know, don't get greedy." Everything you can think of, you know, of not to do. And of course, you proved the whole world wrong. And you know, we're here in Vegas. We know all the odds. A, you were an underdog in the fight, but B, by submission was astronomical odds, man. I'm sure you've probably heard a couple stories here and there, but some people apparently cashed. So, can't hear us?
Ooh. Nope.
Oh,
I think he was getting phone calls there or something. He kept swiping.
Let's see if he pops back in. Well, why don't you lead off here when he comes back in? Because it was probably about the time where you can ask your questions.
All right.
All right, let me give the results here on the bottom of the prelims. So there was only 10 fights, folks. A few of them fell off. Anthony Hernandez defeated Rodolfo Vieira. He's our guest right now. Bilal Muhammad defeated Diego Lima. Polyana Viana defeated Mallory Martin. Chris Gutierrez defeated Andre Ewell. Gabriel Green, defeated Philip Rowe. And the bonuses, $50,000 went to Kamaru Usman, Julian Marquez, Anthony Hernandez, and Polyana Viana. He's joining us here again. Anthony Hernandez, can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No worries. No, so, you know, George is right when he says that your coaches weren't the only ones that were screaming that. And even George and I don't know if you heard us, but when you were in the lobby, we were here on this very same program talking to everybody that was watching our watch along, and we couldn't even stay in frame because we were bouncing around and just screaming and yelling. The whole world was in unison. So I wanted to ask you, when you went back and watched the fight, what was your experience rewatching it and watching yourself? How different was what you saw on the screen versus what you remember during the fight?
Shit. When I was like, I don't know how to even explain that, really, to be honest. But yeah, I was just like, all right, well, I got to work on this. You know, there's always things to get better from. But I'm overall happy with the performance. And yeah, in my head, I just knew that, like, once you see a person's like start to break, you just know, all right. And then you just start building that confidence and just you keep it going, basically. And when I knew I had him, I just kept going for it.
Yeah, it seemed like the bosses, the matchmakers, they all seemed very happy with you. Did you get a moment with them, a little bit of time, and did they tell you anything specifically, and how soon before you can get with your coaches and start planning what's next?
So basically, Dana called me in after the fight, and he said, "I don't give a fuck what happens. You won performance of the night. You're getting 50K. That was fucking fantastic." And then I got to figure out. I'm actually looking at right now with my doctors and shit, trying to see if I can get an X-ray on my hand to confirm it's broken or not. And as far as fighting, I really don't give a fuck who I fight. Like I really don't. I'll fight whoever. I really don't care. So I guess it's just get healthy and see what they offer me.
Did you by any chance talk to Joe Rogan? Because he was beside himself. He's a big jiu-jitsu guy, and he understood just how precious that was to submit somebody at that level. He's known as a black belt hunter. You know, I mean, he's pretty legit. Did you get a chance to talk to him aside from post-fight, or?
No, I didn't. He just like I did the little post-fight interview and that was it. But I mean, he seemed when I rewatched the fight, he seemed like he didn't think I had a chance at all. So hopefully I change his mind.
Well, it's tough to be explicit with what he meant. But I think he probably meant, should these two have ever met up, I guess, in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, maybe, who knows? But MMA changes. It's so different, you know. And
sure.
that guy's worried about your hands, you know what I mean? And you're worried about certain things, but it adds to the drama. I'm glad you got 50K. I'm glad you got your hand raised. I'm even glad that you didn't just knock him out in 8 seconds, which I'm sure you would rather have that and maybe not a broken hand. But I think you learned a lot from yourself and you gained a ton of experience, not just preparing for someone high level, but experiencing someone high level. This is going to benefit you in many ways.
No, yeah, for sure. And it's kind of cool because they were like saying Dana, they were like really hyping him, and they were just like, he's one of the best grapplers in the UFC, and I kind of just got to step in there and take all that away because I submitted him. So, yeah.
I remember you telling me you had you're from a small town in Northern California, rural. Do they get together and have big fight parties, and what's that like been for you now as now you're a veteran in the UFC?
Yeah, no, it was crazy because they were all like sending me Snapchats and shit like when they were watching the fight. So like I got to go home, and like on my way home I basically just watched everyone's reactions, and it was great. It was, it's pretty much what I do it for, is to give people in our small town basically hope that they can do something great with themselves and stuff. And like you want kids to see this shit and be like, you know what, I want to be the next big thing, and like keep their head out of their ass basically and just focus on the good instead of bad. So hopefully I can just keep motivating people in the right ways, and they can be up in the big show too one day.
I was just about to say something similar, and I'm glad you actually took the words right out of my mouth. Very motivating. Not only you, but your partner, Max Griffin. He's told us about the times he's gone to schools and talked to kids and motivated them and told them you can do something as well. And I remember you telling us back in the day that you really wanted to do something for your community. So I'm glad that that's actually taking place right now. So those Snapchats must have been really, really rewarding for you to watch.
Oh no, for sure. They're very heartwarming because like when I win, they all win basically. And hella people won money, so that's a bigger plus.
I love it, man. So you had some uncles and some cousins putting down some cash. Did they do it on the sub too, or just for you to win?
Just to win. Like my wife, I didn't even know because I left my phone and turned it off and shit, but she fucking went and bet like $400 too. I was like, all right, so we had a walk around, play money.
Hell yeah, late Christmas there. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, would you get mad at me if I actually confess something to you? When you actually went to sub him, I didn't say, what's he doing? I said, what's this fool doing? You gonna hold that one against me?
Nah, I don't give a fuck, man.
All right.
You're good.
All right, because I just kept thinking about Rodolfo Vieira's resume in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but the balls, to do it, because I think you tried it a few times before you actually got it, but I think on one of those I said it, and I'd rather me tell you than somebody go, hey, that fat dude that interviewed you on Junkie earlier, he was saying this shit on Saturday. I'd rather come clean, you know what I mean, and take my medicine now.
Yeah. No, fuck yeah. I appreciate that, man. That's some man shit right there. Just telling me straight up, thank you.
There you go, man. Hey, Anthony.
Man.
Listen, I hope you have a good visit with the doctor, and there's different degrees of break, of the fracture. So hopefully it's nothing that's too serious and won't keep you out too long, because I'd love for you to build on this momentum. And thank you for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I definitely hope to be back soon.